Welcome back to another round, you savages. I am here with my friend Alfy. You may know him at Pooh Jitsu. I'm going to go ahead and have his link to his Instagram right here and in the description down below. I'm going to ask him a few questions. He was nice enough to agree to sit down and let me pick his brain. It's actually really funny how he and I came across each other. I've been sort of stalking him on IG for a while now because I'm obsessed with anybody in the Pacific Northwest that does jiu-jitsu, and I want to try to find out where they started training and all that good stuff. So first question is, how long have you been training?
I've been training for 3 years, 10 months, and 16 days.
Okay. I've noticed a couple times now you're really accurate. I like that. Exact numbers on stuff.
My first class was March 7th, 2017, so it's coming up. That's the only reason why I actually know.
Wow.
If this was the middle of July, I would be like, 3.5 years.
Gotcha.
It's just about 4 years.
What rank are you, and how long have you been at your current rank?
I am a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and I've been here for about a year and a half.
What got you into jiu-jitsu or MMA?
Growing up, and I grew up in Cedar, Washington, and if you are unfamiliar with them, back in the early 2000s, or late 90s, early 2000s, they had a dominant wrestling team. They won state 8 years out of 10 years. And so I started wrestling super young when I was 4 or 5 years old, and played sports growing up. So I was already familiar with grappling. And so I wrestled for 8 years or so, and then I stopped when I became a teenager, because that's what teenagers do. And then in the summer of 2016, I was sitting on a couch at a house party, and I made a joke to the random dude I was talking to about running my own business. So he was like, "Nice, man, you should help me with my business." And I'm like, "Oh, what business do you run?" He's like, "Oh, I run an MMA gym." And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's an actual business." Basically, so I ended up talking to him. He ended up being the coach of the Live Wire MMA in Skagit County. And so it took me 8 months to finally nut up to going in there and starting jiu-jitsu, and basically the rest is history.
How do you feel that mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, or both have improved your life inside and outside the training area, the cage, on and off the mats?
Word. So I am a tiny person. I'm 5'4", I'm small, right? So I had the realization a year into it when I was walking into Safeway up in Skagit, and it was the middle of the night, and I'm like, I'm not at all scared. Had headphones in, everything they recommend you don't do, wear dark colors, have headphones in, whatever. I was doing all of that, and I was I'm not scared at all. I mean, at the time, I still should have been scared because I didn't know shit. I still don't know shit, but I didn't know shit at the time, and so I was but it was why don't look at me? I can walk with my shoulders high. Check it out. I've never had a physical altercation that I didn't bring onto myself, but it was I knew that I was ready, at least mentally ready, in case something like that actually happened. So I would say that's the biggest one. It's been nice helping my fiance. She's been learning a little bit. I've been making her learn some jiu-jitsu.
Who are your top 3 favorite jiu-jitsu fighters, MMA fighters, or both, of all time?
Top 3 jiu-jitsu or MMA? Okay, I'll go top 3 MMA first. That is Dominic Cruz. The arrogance is amazing, and I love the uniqueness of his fighting style, and the fact that he was the small guy in the gym, and that's why he developed that style is awesome. I love DC because I love the fucking dad bod. Not even joking, when he was doing his last fight with Stipe, I had a shirtless picture already ready to be peak performance physique right here, bro. This is what it is. All right. So, and then probably Khabib, just because anybody who can be not good at striking, it's more than him just being okay at striking. He's not very good at striking, but so dominant in wrestling that even the lackluster striking can still make up for that. Can make up for that. Can be that much of a distraction. See, when it comes to grapplers, probably Lachlan Giles, because I love leg locks, and I love that he's a smaller guy, and that he didn't just go down the rabbit hole of the Danaher system. He I'm gonna try this my own way and see what happens. I love Paulo Miao. Again, I guess you can see the creativity part of it is very important to me. And I don't even know who I would say for my third one. It's easier for me to like identify schools. So I could say like the people from Unity Jiu-Jitsu, like even though the Meows aren't there anymore and Tex Johnson isn't there anymore, but it's just those fucking savages. Watching those old clips of them training in their dingy ass, like dirty, disgusting, tiny studio that they had in Manhattan.
What is your favorite part about jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts?
Let's see. My favorite part of jiu-jitsu, like, trying to figure out how to word this so I don't sound so lame. It's less about the jiu-jitsu, it's more about the people in it. Because, like, I grew up with a mom that would, like, make fun of me, right? She would call me, like, I'm half Mexican, half whatever, and she would call me, like, a whitewashed half-breed. She's Mexican, too. She's the Mexican one. She picked my dad. I didn't pick him. But she'd call me a whitewashed half-breed, and she was like, if I say this stuff to you now, you know it's coming from a place of love, and when somebody else says it to you, it's not going to bug you. So I've always loved that sort of, like, making fun of people, like, talking trash, and like that's what I found so much through jiu-jitsu. It's like everybody there is like there to work hard. You can bullshit, and people can make fun of your tiny hands or talk about making you ride in the trunk or you know, because like you can fit in it and stuff. Like that's the stuff that like, I live for. So I guess it's a lot about the relationships. Plus I like that like I never smoked pot, and so or have done any drug. I've never drank before. I've never been drunk or anything. So I don't know what being high is, but if like there is a high, it's like the feeling you get after like the hardest training session that you could possibly imagine, where you're dead, but it's like you and like 10 of your friends are like laying there, just like, fuck, we put in work. Like we're gonna smash it, whatever tournament we're getting ready for, we're gonna do all this. Is like that feeling is like what I would imagine being high to feel like, and it's like I could live in that forever, which makes me scared because I don't want to do drugs and artificially get there because then I won't be able to stop.
What inspires you to keep competing, keep wrestling, keep rolling, keep training? What inspires you outside of the gym, and what inspires you inside the gym?
I've always been a big lover of competition. So like I said, I wrestled when I was, you know, from 4 to 12. I played baseball my whole life. I did all that stuff. So like the love of competition has always been there. So when I started jiu-jitsu, it's like I'm not gonna do this and not compete at it. Like, you know, people say it's like, oh, it's to test myself. Oh, it's to this and that. It's like, no, it's just like, I want to be better than, I want to be better than the other guys in my bracket. Like, that's the goal. It's not to, I don't know. And whether that means technically better or being able to outwill somebody, like for me, it all counts. Like, I'm so into competition that like, I'll watch like the CrossFit games before I ever started CrossFit. I watch a competitive tag. Like, I'm telling you, like, yeah, it's the dopest thing. And then, you know, I think I was watching a couple weeks ago with my buddy. I was watching like these rock climbing championships or whatever. I've never seen them before. I mean, I want them to fall into the water, like, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna hurt. But like, it's just the competition in general, and to keep doing it, I don't know. I like the congratulations you get when you do well. Like it's so weird because it's not for the typical reasons. It's not for the, like I said, it's not to test myself. I like that, and I like to, especially being like a coach of kids. I want them to be able to see me and follow that example. If I want them to compete, I have to be able to do it myself. You know what I mean? And if I can compete on my way up to black belt, like if I get my black belt and I do a couple tournaments and I do decent, like I'll be happy and I'll stop then. But like until that happens, like I gotta keep going.
What are your goals for jiu-jitsu?
Dude, I have no idea. I'm really legit. Like, you know, when I first started, I was like, I want to be the best competitor in the world. And then it's like, then as I kept going, I was like, I want to be a teacher. And then after that, I was like, screw that. I don't want to be a teacher. I want to open my own school, but not have to run it. I think that's still more what I like. And then now I'm like, I'm doing this YouTube thing. And it's like, you know, like I'm not entirely sure what the goal is. To do it forever is to hopefully like inspire people to do it. I think, again, owning a gym would be a cool thing, not to run it. I don't like the idea of like actually having to be in there every single day. Like doing that grind is hard, man. I see the wear and tear it puts on people, and I don't want to be put in that position and fall out of love with the sport. So for me, it's like, I wouldn't mind like owning the building, designing the color scheme, like figuring out the logo, doing the marketing and stuff like that. But then being able to go and learn still from whatever coach is, I have teaching.
What do you want your family and friends to take away from what you're doing?
I don't know if it's more of them like taking it away as much as them is like understanding it, which means that they understand like what I'm doing isn't for gain. Like it isn't for like monetary gain. What I'm doing isn't about making money, buying the $1 million house, when I turn 30. Like what I'm doing is like, because I do it because I love it, because I fucking love it. I'm swearing a lot, but like
okay.
because I fucking love it, and it's like it's an amazing thing. But like people don't understand that because they're not a part of it, so they don't know what that's like to be put in physical harm, whether we make it ourselves, and to be able to come out on the other side of it, like I don't know. People don't understand that at all. Right now, I'm not working. I am doing jiu-jitsu full-time because of COVID and everything, right? I've been blessed with this opportunity and I'm making the most of it. So it's like, it's less about what they are getting out of me doing it, right? I would love for each one of my family members to learn jiu-jitsu or even like kickboxing. Like I want my fiance like to learn kickboxing too. She's kicked me in the leg before doing one kickboxing class and it fucking hurt. So I'm like, okay, maybe you should do this because you can defend yourself with your leg kicks. But I guess what I want them to get out of it is just to understand like jiu-jitsu more the way that we understand it. The way that it's like, it's about like the love for the sport. Like there are many things that go into this, but it's like seeing what the police officers know and what they don't know. It's very, very eye-opening. And it makes you want to know how to protect yourself more than ever relying on somebody else to. If I was carrying a sidearm or carrying a weapon or whatever, like if somebody was to approach me angrily, I feel like I could de-escalate the situation more verbally than I ever could using jiu-jitsu, but knowing that if I ever needed to, I could hold my own. Unless, I'm 5'4", unless it's like some 6'4", 280-pound beast, then it's like, okay, maybe jiu-jitsu isn't gonna work on this person. But that's my number one piece of self-defense, man. It's like against multiple attackers, right? Or against anybody. It's like, if somebody just wants your money, somebody wants your $50 that you have in your wallet, just give them the $50 fucking dollars, man. Like, whatever.
When is the next time we're gonna see you compete on the mat or in the ring?
So, one thing I've learned about myself is that I have holes in my fundamentals, and I am working on filling those gaps. When I hit blue belt, I did whatever blue belt does, and I was like, what fun things can I learn instead of what things should I learn? And so I went down the leg lock rabbit holes. I went down all these different fun things, but I need to square away my fundamentals before I compete again. I competed in February? No, February's coming up. I competed in, I think, like October, and that was fun, but I've had offers to compete. Unless Ultimate Mat Warriors does an undercard again, I probably won't compete until we start having like opens, right? There's like Heart and Hustle and there's, all these other things going on, but like until there's like opens and I can compete against multiple people for like one price, rather than just like going out and competing against one person and giving my all to that, like I probably won't compete anytime soon. Probably that's gonna be like summer.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, want to make sure that you throw in, would like to bring attention to or talk about before we go ahead and bring this to a close?
If you guys want to find me, you can find me on YouTube at Alfy Murillo Pooh Jitsu, Pooh Jitsu. I wasn't smart enough to get just the name, so I have to use like my first and last name, and then I just kind of like added Pooh Jitsu onto the end of it. I'm also on Instagram at Pooh Jitsu or at Pooh.jitsu. And yeah, you can find me just grappling all over the Pacific Northwest, anywhere from Portland to Bellingham. I'll be there.
Thank you very much.